So here we are. Welcome to the results video for round 1 of season 8 for the Pixel Game Maker Awards. So it's been about a month since we kicked off this season, and I, among the other judges, have had the absolute pleasure of going through the entry games for our nearly 70 starting contestants, and let me tell you, I have been thoroughly impressed. I have plenty of kudos to give, as do the other judges, I'm sure, but real quickly, before we get into it, let's clarify some of the stakes that we had for this round and see what kind of cards our game devs were dealt. This first round, contestants were given 2 weeks total to conceptualize and put together their game. This is the shortest time span we're going to give throughout any of the rounds. It won't be any less than that. Contestants were also assigned a theme, which is to be followed almost every round. So this round we landed on the theme Deja Vu. So actually a pretty challenging theme for the first round. Why? Well, if you know what deja vu is, essentially a cognitive phenomenon in which you suddenly feel as if you've already lived through the current situation. To me, at least, it seems near impossible to execute this theme on a perfect level. So I'm definitely giving credit where credit's due. Now, if we look at how the teams and solo participants have been cut up, this gives us 50 teams/solo contestants total, of which half will unfortunately be eliminated upon this video being shared. But we'll get into that in a minute. As per usual with PGMA results, we're going to keep protocol and we'll start with some comments from judges and honorable mentions, so let's head over there.
Meantime is a great game. I just wish I was better at it myself. It's super cool, super unique. It's got all the different bosses and they all have their unique attacks. I'm just not very good at this kind of game, but definitely for people who like boss battlers, Dark Souls type of games, this is super cool. The mechanic, the deja vu mechanic of only being able to fight in reverse is really, really creative. I'm not good at it, but I definitely think if you put a lot of practice into this kind of game, you could absolutely blast through these bosses and put a really good speedrun time, I'd say. And yeah, Meantime is a great little game. For 2 weeks, it's super well polished. I'm sure with more time for round 2, they'll be able to put together an even larger game that's still just as good. And this one definitely checks all the boxes for a great game jam game. Sisyphus 31. It's got a very unique style that it's going for. It's a solid story, and overall pretty good gameplay to match. And to be honest, the enemy designs I thought were genuinely creepy. Every time I came across a new one floated across my screen, I was like, whoa, super creative designs with that. I enjoyed exploring the ship, all the different routes you can take, trying all the different weapons. Super cool. This would definitely be a good game to speedrun to find the most optimal route, seeing who do you need to shoot, who can you avoid. It's definitely one of those kind of games. Only downside I would say is the deja vu theme wasn't super integrated, at least in my opinion. It was there though. So yeah, good art, good gameplay, fun to get through. It's basically all you need for round 1. These guys are super creative, and yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they come up with for the next round. Echoed Path is basically exactly what you want from a game jam game. It's easy to pick up and play, it runs well, and it's beatable all in one sitting. It's not groundbreaking in any sort of way, but it doesn't need to be just for round 1. They made a slick, polished game, and it's super fun to blast through. And they did all that in just 2 weeks, which I think is pretty impressive. I really like the art. Art looks good. It's not trying to be overly serious. It's just trying to be a fun little game, and I'm a fan of any game that has little creatures in it. The dialogue is fun, and the animation is pretty smooth, and platforming is solid as well. I was not expecting a lava chase sequence, but that was super cool. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what this team comes up with next.
Hello, my 3 favorite games from this game jams are first the Mirror Dash. This game has astonishing ambience, which makes not only the puzzles interesting, but the overall vary. What I would say as bad thing is that the lack of the puzzle complexity. The next one is Lucid Dream Simulator. This game is very interesting because you can pass multiple platformer levels, but each one you can have a custom set of items by your choice. For example, in this level, you can combine many items to climb up this place. The main problem I have is the lack of pixel art on some parts, and that controls can be confusing for beginners. And the last one is the bunny game. This game is very interesting because you have to pass the same level in multiple ways. For example, currently I have the double jump, and after finishing level you get new moveset while losing the previous one. And this makes very interesting game because you can play the same level in different way. The main things I will change, I will add at least one extra level which you can play with different movesets.
So right out of the gate, I have to call out my favorite entry of the round, being Gunshots in the Rain by Pawn Monsters. So this game has pretty much everything. If there's one thing I had to use to describe it, it would be immersive, which is kind of what you want to go for. With me personally, that's what will click with me the most. So the concept, the choice of sounds and music, the art isn't just, it's not just good, it fits, right? It fits the maturity of the story being told, which is another thing I'll get into. But I just felt like it was an entry that you'd expect from round 3 or 4 of the contest, so this was a massive surprise to me. Now, one thing that was obviously a challenge for everybody, I think, was the theme. Deja vu is not easy to depict, and I feel like, at least for me, it was very hit or miss for this round, so either it worked out pretty well in the game's favor, or it didn't entirely make sense. But we had a couple of mystery-oriented games, and this one was the most well done, in my opinion, and the theme was tied in organically enough to feel more natural. So I am so thankful that this time around we're allowing games to be shared on itch and other platforms, because there's a lot more space to get really compelling and mature themes that don't have to tone down their intensity. But anyway, we find ourselves a lonely detective in a drab, unassuming small town where we've been tasked with identifying and killing some mob boss, when really it kind of seems like every other person in this town can or wants to kill you, which is kind of funny until I start raging. Double Sight is a perfect example of how atmosphere can be everything. So it was absolutely the right idea to go for a horror play this time around. Super unique and just really strange that I can't quite pinpoint exactly why the theme implementation hits just right. So, okay, so essentially your town, or your world presumably, is being threatened by a series of monsters, and their presence is indicated by the occurrence of something notably special happening twice while you're driving in your car. I think it's probably that eeriness of Deja Vu that perfectly plays on the horror aspect of this, because Deja Vu in and of itself can be seen as creepy or eerie. The art is undeniably detailed and fitting. Once you realize this is the same contestant behind Turnip Boy from Season 6, and you see the improvement, no more needs to be said. My favorite part of this game, honestly, is the car. It's obvious after the opening, the most was put into this part. Just driving through the snow with your radio on in the midst of a suspiciously quiet road until you see something twice that directs you to start blasting some monsters with some pretty unique character designs. Now I do have a couple of complaints. The boss designs are great, like I just said, although I do feel as if the intensity of some of the boss fights kind of takes away from the calmer, eerie energy given in the rest of the game. Like as much as I normally don't like it, I do feel like a turn-based combat style would have served a little better, or something akin to that. On top of that, you could then better avoid stuff like the collision bugs that were very apparent while playing. But all in all, this was a great debut for round 1 for only 2 weeks, so congrats to Stormfather 1.
Hey everyone, RK3000 here, and today I'm going to be talking about my top 3 entries from the first round of pgma out of the dozen that I played. In third is Wake Up by Simply It's Code. This one has the best theme implementation in my opinion. The premise is that you're stuck in a 3-day time loop, and the goal is to explore rooms and collect items to escape. The twist is that you'll lose your items at the end of every day, but you can store a limited amount of them in a cupboard for the next day. It's clever, with some cool puzzles like using a candle from day 1 to solve a problem on day 2. The game could use more polish, like better transitions, sound, and especially more tutorialization, as I didn't really understand how to play at first. However, it makes up for it with its sheer uniqueness. Nice work. In second place is Sisyphus 31 by Zorgo6 and Lewis Arcade. You play as a spaceman trying to escape a robot-infested ship, with only 5 minutes to explore before the game restarts. The theme of déjà vu works quite well here, because you need to learn the level over multiple runs to eventually escape. The level is too big to beat in just one go. There's a surprisingly big variety of weapons, each with different playstyles, and had fun experimenting. The comic-style story is a nice touch too, and contributes to the theme implementation. It's a bit rough around the edges, especially with the movement of some of the enemies, but it is super engaging. Kudos to the devs. And in first is Meantime by King Midas. This game is super polished, with amazing art and sound. The game revolves around rewinding your movement to deal damage to bosses. It's tough to master at first, but it's super satisfying once you get the hang of it. There are 3 challenging bosses with multiple phases, though the difficulty is pretty high. The rewind mechanic forces you to get close to the boss, which can result in unfair contact damage. It also feels like the game is leaning more towards a theme of rewind than déjà vu. Despite that, it's still my favorite entry because of how fun, intuitive, and polished it is. Thank you for listening, and good luck to all of the devs.
Alright, so here we are, the final results. So for those of you who aren't really sure how they work, here's the gist of it. For the first 2 rounds, we have public polls, so we had the pgma community vote on their favorite game. After that, we had the judges evaluate the games based on 4 main categories: coding, music and sound, art and graphics, and the theme. Those go through a few steps of averaging and then are scaled up so as to have a significant effect over the poll votes. The poll votes and judge votes are combined to yield a single total score. So the total is what will determine if you pass or are eliminated. And to the contestants, good luck. Well, there you go. There are our final results for round 1. A huge congratulations to the Frog Squad for their success in placing first for this round, as well as all the other contestants who made it through. We also want to thank the eliminated contestants. I don't know about everyone else, but I was pleasantly surprised by just about all of the entries and knew I would be upset no matter who got eliminated, so we hate to see you go, but we must move on. With that being said, we're going to turn things over and see what info we have on round 2. So since we're still kind of in the midst of the holiday season and we know round 1 was real tough on you guys, we're going to go ahead and give a small breather before round 2 and start it on January 2nd. Now, because round 2 is also 2 weeks, we're going to go ahead and reveal the theme now and allow a few extra days to brainstorm, breathe, or start on your entry, whatever you guys want to do with it. So the round 2 theme will be Subzero. So if you overscoped for round 1, then you have the chance to not do that now. But last but not least, the round 2 due date will land on January 16th. So that's pretty much all we have for you now. Thanks for watching and good luck to the remaining contestants.